The call came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was reviewing quarterly reports in my downtown office. Mom's voice had that particular tone, the one she used when explaining why I wasn't quite good enough for something. "Sweetheart, about the grand opening gala for my new boutique location," she began. "I've been thinking and, well, it might be better if you didn't attend." I set down my pen. "I see. It's not personal," she continued quickly. "It's just that we're inviting real business owners. Established entrepreneurs. People from the Chamber of Commerce. You understand. Real business owners," I repeated flatly. "Yes. People with actual storefronts, employees, commercial leases. Not," she paused delicately, "not whatever it is you do on your laptop. This online thing you've been playing with." I stared at the floor-to-ceiling windows of my office suite, at the city skyline stretching beyond. "Playing with? I'm just being honest, honey. You've been doing this internet business thing for what, 3 years now? And you're still working from home in your pajamas. Meanwhile, I'm opening my 5th location. There's a difference between a hobby and a real business." "I understand," I said quietly. "I knew you would. You're so understanding. It's just that the mayor will be there and several city council members, and I can't have anyone asking awkward questions about what my daughter does for a living. She has a website. Just doesn't sound very impressive, does it?" "No, Mom. It doesn't." "Exactly. I'm so glad we're on the same page. Now I should go. I have a meeting with my accountant about the expansion. Love you." She hung up before I could respond. I sat there for a long moment staring at my phone. Then I pressed the intercom button. "Yes, Miss Chin?" My assistant's voice came through. "Can you get me Mitchell Bradford at Hartwell Investment Group?" "Right away." It hadn't always been like this. Growing up, Mom and I had been close. She'd been a single mother working 2 jobs to keep us afloat after Dad left. I'd watched her struggle, scrape, and sacrifice. When I was 16, she'd started selling handmade jewelry at craft fairs on weekends. By the time I graduated high school, she'd saved enough to open a small boutique. I'd been so proud of her. I went to college on scholarships, studying business and computer science. While my classmates partied, I freelanced building websites for small businesses. I saved every dollar. Mom's boutique grew. She opened a 2nd location my sophomore year. By my junior year, she had 3 stores and had stopped asking how I was doing. Our conversations became status reports on her success. "Guess who got written up in the business journal?" she'd say. "That's wonderful, Mom. And I'm hiring 2 new managers. Real career positions with benefits." I'd graduated with honors, but Mom had been too busy with a store opening to attend my ceremony. "You understand, don't you? This is a huge business opportunity." I understood. I'd started my company from my apartment the month after graduation. An e-commerce platform that used AI to help small businesses optimize their online presence. It was technical, complicated, and not something I could easily explain at dinner parties. Mom didn't really ask about it. When she did, I kept my answers vague. "It's going well. Growing steadily. Keeping me busy." What I didn't tell her: my platform had 847 active business clients by the end of year 1. By year 2, we'd hit 3,200 clients across 18 states. By year 3, the present, we had 8,400 clients, 63 employees, and annual revenue of $47 million. What I also didn't tell her: 3 years ago, when she'd needed capital to open her 4th boutique location, I'd created an anonymous investment vehicle through Hartwell Investment Group. She'd received $2.9 million in funding from what she believed was a private investor who preferred to remain anonymous. That investor was me. I'd structured it carefully through my wealth management firm. Clean, legal, completely untraceable to me. I'd told myself I was helping her achieve her dreams, that I was being a good daughter. But sitting in my office, still hearing her voice, "Your online thing isn't in that category," I realized something else. I'd been protecting her from the truth. And in doing so, I'd enabled her to dismiss me, diminish me, and treat my success as a hobby she could condescend to. Mitchell Bradford's voice came through my phone. "Sophia, good to hear from you. How can I help?" "Mitchell, I need you to withdraw all capital from Prestige Boutique Holdings. Effective immediately." There was a pause. "All of it? The entire $2.9 million. Every dollar. May I ask why?" The investment has been performing well. Personal reasons, I said. I want it done today. Today? Sophia, that will require immediate notification to the business. They'll need to secure alternative funding or face serious operational consequences. I'm aware. Another pause. You're certain? Completely. All right. I'll draft the withdrawal notice within the hour. It will be delivered to Prestige Boutique Holdings by end of business today. Thank you, Mitchell. I hung up and returned to my quarterly reports. I had work to do. My phone started ringing at 6:47 p.m. Mom's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 6:51 p.m. Voicemail. At 7:03 p.m. she called from the boutique's business line. Voicemail. At 7:15 p.m. a text. Call me immediately. Emergency. I finished the email I was writing, saved the document I was reviewing and shut down my computer. Then I picked up my phone and called her back. What is happening? She shrieked before I could say hello. My investor just withdrew all the funding. Everything. $2.9 million gone. The bank called, my accountant called, my lawyer called. What am I supposed to do? I'm sorry to hear that, Mom. Sorry. Do you understand what this means? The new location opens in 3 weeks. I have contractors, inventory orders, signed leases. Everything is dependent on that capital. Without it, I'll have to close the new store before it even opens. I might have to close one of the existing locations just to cover the immediate costs. That sounds stressful. Stressful? It's a catastrophe. Who does this? Who pulls $2.9 million with zero notice? Someone who no longer wants to be invested, I suppose. This is my life's work, Sophia. Everything I've built. And some anonymous coward is destroying it with a single phone call. I've been trying to reach them through the investment firm all afternoon. They won't even tell me why. I walked to my office window, looking out at the city lights beginning to glow in the dusk. Maybe they felt their investment wasn't appreciated. Not appreciated? I've been paying the agreed-upon returns like clockwork. The business is profitable. What more could they want? Perhaps they wanted to be treated like a real investor, I said quietly. What are you talking about? Maybe they wanted their contribution to be respected, acknowledged, not dismissed as something that doesn't count. Sophia, I don't have time for your philosophical nonsense right now. I'm facing financial ruin. Can you please just be supportive for once instead of being weird? I closed my eyes. I'm sorry you're going through this, Mom. I hope you figure it out. Figure it out. With 3 weeks until the grand opening? How am I supposed to? She stopped abruptly. Wait, the gala. I need to cancel the gala. I can't have a grand opening celebration when I might not even be able to open. Oh God, the mayor's office, the invitations, the catering. You should probably handle that, I said. I can't believe this is happening. Everything was perfect. Everything was going according to plan. And now some faceless investor has destroyed everything. Not faceless, I said. You just never asked who they were. What? Nothing. Good luck, Mom. I hung up. She called 6 more times that night. I didn't answer. The next morning my assistant brought me coffee and the morning's schedule. Your mother called the office line 4 times before 8 a.m., she said carefully. She sounds distressed. She's dealing with a business crisis. She said it was urgent that she speak with you. I'm sure it is. My assistant, brilliant, discreet, fiercely loyal, simply nodded. Understood. I'll let her know you're in meetings all day. Thank you, Jessica. At 10 a.m., I had a video conference with our development team about the platform's new features. At noon, I met with 3 potential enterprise clients. At 2 p.m., I had a strategy session with my executive team about our expansion into international markets. At 4 p.m., my brother called. What did you do? Tyler demanded. Hello, Tyler. How are you? Don't play dumb. Mom called me hysterical. Something about her investor pulling out? She thinks you might know something about it because you were acting weird last night. I was sympathetic to her situation. She said you made some comment about investors not being appreciated. What's that about? I leaned back in my chair. Did Mom tell you why she called me yesterday? No, why? She uninvited me from her gala. Said real entrepreneurs were attending and my online thing didn't qualify. Silence. Tyler. Okay, that's harsh, but come on, sophomore. You know how mom is about her boutiques. It's her whole identity. I'm aware. So you can't take it personally. She's just proud of what she's built and wants to celebrate with people who understand the retail world. People who have real businesses. I mean, you do work from home. In your pajamas. Most of the time we have no idea what you actually do. You're right, I said. You have no idea what I actually do. See? You're being weird again. This is why mom didn't. He stopped himself. Didn't what? Didn't invite me? Didn't want me there? Didn't consider me a real entrepreneur? You're taking this too personally. Am I? Look, I don't know what happened with mom's investor, but if you know something you should tell her. She's genuinely panicking. This could bankrupt her. Then perhaps she should have been more careful about who she dismissed. What does that even mean? It means I have a 3 p.m. meeting starting. Give mom my best. I hung up. Friday afternoon, mom showed up at my apartment. I just finished a call with our legal team when my doorbell rang. I opened it to find her standing there, mascara smudged, wearing the same outfit I'd seen her wear 2 days in a row on her Instagram stories. You have to help me, she said without preamble. I stepped aside. She walked in looking around my apartment like she was seeing it for the first time, which actually she was. She'd never visited in the 3 years I'd lived here. Nice place, she said absently. Listen, I know we haven't been. I know I wasn't. Look, I'm desperate. I need a loan. A loan. $2.9 million. I know it's a lot, but you must have some savings, right? From your website business. Even if it's just a small amount, anything would help. I can pay you back with interest once the new location is profitable. I stared at her. You want me to loan you $2.9 million. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm out of options. The banks won't help. I'm already leveraged on the existing locations. Private investors want terms I can't accept. You're my daughter. Family helps family. Family helps family, I repeated. Yes, exactly. I knew you'd understand. So how much can you spare? Even $500,000 would buy me time too. Why do you think I have that kind of money, Mom? She blinked. Well, I don't expect you to have the full amount. But you've been working for 3 years. You live modestly. You must have saved something. From my online thing. My hobby. My little website business that isn't a real company. She had the grace to look uncomfortable. I may have been dismissive about what you do. But this is an emergency, Sophia. I could lose everything. Everything you built. Your real business. With your actual storefronts and employees and commercial leases. Yes. The business you didn't want me at the gala for because I'd be embarrassing. I never said embarrassing. You said my online thing wasn't in the same category as real entrepreneurs. You said you couldn't have people asking awkward questions about what your daughter does for a living. She closed her eyes. I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear? What I want, I said quietly, is for you to leave. Her eyes snapped open. What? You came here because you need money. Not because you realized you hurt me. Not because you wanted to make amends. Not because you're actually sorry. You came because you're desperate and you thought I was desperate enough for your approval that I'd hand over my savings. That's not. How much do you think I make, Mom? She faltered. I don't know. Maybe $60,000? $70,000. You genuinely have no idea what my company does or how successful it is. You never talk about it. You never ask. And when I try to tell you, you change the subject to talk about your boutiques. Because my boutiques are my life. They're what I built from nothing. And you think I built nothing. I think you work from home on a laptop. I think you don't have the stress of managing retail locations and employees and inventory and... I have 63 employees, I said. She stopped. My company has 63 full-time employees. We operate in 42 states. Last year our revenue was $47 million. This year we're projected to hit $61 million. Mom's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. That's not possible. It's not only possible, it's documented in our financial filings. Jessica, my executive assistant, Can provide you with our annual report if you'd like. You have an executive assistant? I have an executive team. A CFO, a CTO, a VP of operations and a chief strategy officer. We just signed a lease on a 12,000 square foot office space downtown because we've outgrown our current location. She sank onto my couch. How did I not know this? Because you never asked. Because every time I tried to tell you about a milestone or achievement, you'd interrupt with news about your boutiques. Because you decided 3 years ago that what I did wasn't real, and you never questioned that assumption. But, $47 million. Last year. This year will be higher. She looked up at me and I saw it, the moment the reality hit her. The investor. The anonymous investor who pulled out. That was me. You funded my expansion? I did. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have refused it. You would have been insulted that your daughter, who runs a fake online business, presumed to invest in your Real boutique empire. That's not. It absolutely is. And we both know it. She stood up, pacing to the window. So you pulled the funding as, what? Revenge? To punish me for uninviting you. No, Mom. I pulled the funding because I realized I was doing us both a disservice. I was protecting you from having to see me as successful because it threatened your identity as the successful one in our relationship. And in doing so, I let you treat me like a failure. I never called you a failure. You called my business a hobby. An online thing. Something I was playing with. You uninvited me from your gala because having me there would be embarrassing. She turned to face me, tears in her eyes. I was proud of being the successful one. After everything with your father, after struggling for so many years, the boutiques were proof that I'd made it. That I was somebody. And having a successful daughter threatened that. Having a daughter who seemed more successful than me was terrifying. What did that make me? Just another small business owner? Nothing special. It made you my mom, who I loved, who I was proud of, who I wanted to celebrate. She wiped her eyes. What happens now? Now you figure out how to save your business. Talk to banks, find new investors, restructure your debt. Do what any real entrepreneur would do when facing a crisis. And us. I don't know, I said honestly. I love you, Mom. But I'm done being treated like I don't matter. If you want a relationship with me, it has to be one where you see me, actually see me, as I am. Not as you need me to be to make yourself feel important. She nodded slowly. That's fair. I mean it. No more dismissing my work. No more comparing our businesses like it's a competition. No more acting like my success doesn't count because it's different from yours. Okay. And you need to say it. Say what? That you're proud of me. Not because I might loan you money. Not because my success reflects well on you. Because I built something real and meaningful and successful, and I did it with integrity and hard work. She took a shaky breath. I'm proud of you, Sophia. I'm proud of what you've built. And I'm sorry I couldn't see it before. I'm sorry I made you feel small. Thank you. She moved toward the door, then stopped. The money. You're really not going to help me. No, Mom. I'm not. Even though you have it? Especially because I have it. You need to solve this yourself. Just like I built my company myself. Without your support, without your acknowledgement, without your help. She flinched. That's cruel. That's reality. Welcome to it. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched from a distance as Mom scrambled to save her business. She secured a smaller loan from a regional bank, enough to keep the existing locations running. She postponed the new locations opening indefinitely. She canceled the gala and issued apologies to the mayor's office and the Chamber of Commerce. Her Instagram posts, usually polished and triumphant, became sporadic and humble. Facing challenges but grateful for the journey, read one. Learning that success isn't just about growth, it's about resilience, read another. Tyler called me 3 times to tell me I was being unnecessarily harsh. I didn't return his calls. On the 15th day after our confrontation, Mom called. I don't need money, she said before I could speak. I wanted you to know I found your company's website. I read the whole thing. What you do is remarkable. I didn't understand before, but I do now. Or I'm trying to. Thank you. And I wanted to apologize again. Properly. Not because I need something from you, but because you deserved better. You've always deserved better. I appreciate that, Mom. Could we maybe have coffee sometime? Just to talk? I'd like to hear about your company. If you're willing to tell me. I looked out my office window at the skyline I'd been staring at for 3 years while building something she'd never bothered to understand. Coffee would be nice, I said finally. Really? Really? But Mom. Yes. If you interrupt me to talk about your boutiques, I'm leaving. She laughed. A real laugh, not her polished social laugh. Deal. Mom and I met for coffee every other Tuesday. At first, our conversations were stilted, careful. But gradually something shifted. She asked questions about my company. Real questions. How did the AI optimization work? What was my biggest challenge in scaling? How did I manage a team of 63 people? I answered. And then I asked about her boutiques. Not to be polite, but because I was genuinely curious about her inventory strategy, her customer retention tactics, her management style. We were learning to see each other. Tyler joined us for one of our coffees, surprised to find us laughing together. What happened to you two? He asked. Mom and I exchanged glances. We had an honest conversation, she said. About respect, I added. And reality. Tyler looked between us, confused. And the investor thing? Did that ever get resolved? Mom smiled. It did. I found new funding. Smaller amount but more sustainable. I'm learning that bigger isn't always better. I said nothing. That night, Jessica knocked on my office door. Mitchell Bradford from Hartwell called. He wanted to confirm the wire transfer went through. Wire transfer? $500,000 to Prestige Boutique Holdings. He said you'd authorized it this morning. I had. After our coffee, after watching Mom genuinely engage with my work, after seeing her make a real effort to change, I'd made a decision. Not $2.9 million. Not a bailout. But a smaller investment. A gesture. A bridge. Yes, I told Jessica. It went through. And the structure? He asked if you wanted it anonymous again. I thought about that. About hiding. About protecting her from the truth. No, I said. This one has my name on it. The next Tuesday, Mom arrived at the coffee shop early. When I walked in, she stood up and pulled me into a hug. Thank you, she whispered. For coffee. For the investment. For putting your name on it. For giving me another chance. It's a smaller amount, I said. And it comes with conditions. She pulled back. What conditions? First, you acknowledge publicly that your daughter is a successful tech entrepreneur. On your social media, in your interviews, to your business associates. Done. Second, when you open that new location, and I believe you will, I'm invited to the gala. And you introduce me as your daughter who runs a $50 million company. Absolutely. Third, we keep having these coffees. Not out of obligation. Because we want to. She smiled. That's the easiest one. We sat down. She pulled out her phone and showed me architectural plans for the new boutique location. Scaled down, more modest but beautiful. I'm thinking of calling it Renaissance, she said. New beginning and all that. I like it. And I was hoping. She hesitated. Would you be willing to look at their website? Give me advice on the e-commerce integration? I'll pay your consulting rate, of course. I looked at my mother, really looked at her. At the woman who'd raised me alone, who'd built a business from craft fairs, who'd struggled and succeeded and failed and learned. The woman who was finally seeing me as I was. Family rate, I said. Which means free, but you have to acknowledge my advice in your next Instagram post. She laughed. Deal. 6 months later, I stood in Mom's newly opened Renaissance boutique, champagne glass in hand, watching her give a speech to a room full of Real entrepreneurs, city council members, and yes, the mayor. Before we celebrate, Mom said, I want to acknowledge someone. My daughter, Sophia Chin, runs Tech Optimized Solutions, a $50 million AI platform that's revolutionizing how small businesses succeed online. She's brilliant, she's built something extraordinary, and I'm ashamed it took me so long to see it. She looked directly at me. Sophia, thank you for your investment in this location. But more importantly, for your patience with me. For teaching me that success isn't a competition, especially not between a mother and daughter. The room applauded. People turned to look at me, really look at me. Tyler, standing beside me, nudged me. She actually did it. She did. You going to tell her about the Forbes 30 under 30 thing? I smiled. After the party. Let her have tonight. Mom finished her speech and made her way through the crowd to me. Too much? She asked. Perfect, I said honestly. Good. Because I have a request. What's that? Teach me about your business. Really teach me. I want to understand it. All of it. I looked at her, at the genuine curiosity in her eyes, the respect, the pride. I'd like that, Mom. And for the first time in 3 years I meant it.